Oh, Scotch, such a great spirit. So many flavors, so many good options. But that's the thing. Where do you start? With 5 regions, over 150 distilleries, age statements from 3 to 80 years, and hundreds of barrels of finish in, there's just so many things to choose from. It almost seems overwhelming to get into the Scotch world. But today, I'm gonna help you get started. I'm gonna bring one Scotch from each region that I think is a great starter Scotch to get you into Scotch and figure out which ones you like. These are very affordable and very easy to drink, so do not be afraid, but you gotta start somewhere, so let's get into the first one. Let's start with my favorite region, Islay. This is Laphroaig 10. $55, and if you're lucky, about $50 for this just amazing Islay experience. Now you could go on the unpeated route and get a classic laddie or a Bunnahabhain Sturader, but I think having a peated whiskey is kind of the essence of Islay. So this, being around 50 bucks and 43% alcohol is just very good. Now this is gonna have a nice creamier, fruitier spice than something like, I would say, like an Ardbeg 10 or even a Lagavulin 8. Those are a little more what I would think of are ashy, a little more harsher peats. But this one kind of blends the middle there, kind of like the unpeated and the peat. Only 40 ppms here, but this is the standard as far as I'm concerned when it comes to starting with Islay. You're gonna get the peat, but you're gonna get a lot of nicer, fruitier, citrus, creamier notes out of this here. And I think if you're scared to start with Islay, give this guy a shot. He's cheap enough that you shouldn't feel too bad you don't like it and then give it to somebody else. Give it to me, please, because I think it's great. If you want something else, you can grab an Ardbeg Anoa, which is a sherried vatting of an Ardbeg no age statement. Also very good, also around 50 bucks. This is also 46% alcohol, so a little higher than Laphroaig 10, also a good starter thing. But I think, in my opinion, Laphroaig 10, a little better for the intro, but if you want to go a little more sherry here, go to the Ardbeg Anoa. Okay, let's go to Lowland, probably the smoothest whiskey of these 5. Bang. Auchentoshan 12 year. Auchentoshan is a triple distilled Lowland single malt, and it is Oloroso and bourbon cask matured. It is also the bare minimum 40% alcohol, so you know this thing just has a nice grainy sweet profile, but again, it is incredibly smooth. You guys know that my wife does not enjoy whiskey, but one of my second reviews, I think, was the Auchentoshan American Oak, and she did not get a bite on that at all, and she hates whiskey. So very, very great starter whiskey, and again, it's like $60. So again, a really good price here. But Auchentoshan wouldn't be my first choice, but it is widely available. My favorite Lowland distillery that I think is amazing is Bladnoch, but again, you're not gonna find those that often in the States. My Bladnoch 17 that's right behind me is by far my favorite currently. But again, Auchentoshan 12 is very, very solid, very smooth, really nice profile, and it's not gonna be overbearing whatsoever. If you wanna level up a tad, you can go to the Auchentoshan 3 wood, uses 3 barrels for maturing, and is again, really, really good. It's probably about $80 though, so if you like the 12 year, go to the 3 wood. Okay, Highland, bang. Glenmorangie Quinta Bourbon 14 year, a ruby port finished Highland whiskey at 46% alcohol. It's also around $60, so an amazing price for a 14-year whiskey. Now, they make a ton of whiskey per year. That's why their prices are a little cheaper, but it is a very good starter Highland, and ruby port is a Portuguese wine, and it is very fruity, very tanniny. And you'll get a little more of a grain forward than you will with a Lowland here with the added fruit and sweetness from that red wine. So it's going to be fantastic. And having a 14-year on your shelf for about $60, you can't really beat that. If you like the 14-year, you'll look at the Glenmorangie La Santa. It's a red label. Or you can go to the Glenmorangie Nectar Dior, which is a Sauternes finished, and it's very, very, very good. It's about 100 bucks, maybe 80 if you're lucky, but it is very good. So there's a couple of Highlands for you to start with. But again, I think the Quinta Bourbon 14 is the best value here. My second favorite region, Campbeltown. And we're gonna go with a Glen Scotia, boom, the double oak. Now, this one is matured in ex-bourbon, and then for the last 12 months in Pedro Jimenez sherry. So super sweet and super good. Now, disclaimer, I have not had this bottle, but I've got Glen Scotia 15, which is an absolutely incredible Campbeltown for, this is like $80, which is crazy. So the Glen Scotia Double Oak is $60, and it's going to be very good. I just have had a bunch of Glen Scotias. Haven't had this one in particular, but I know just from having this, it is very good. And it being $20 or $25 less than this, it's great. On top of the fact that Campbeltown always has, for me, those really nice, salty, coastal vibes there with the brown sugar, kind of peanut buttery aspects. So then you just add in the PX sherry and mwah, just really nice sweet profile, with a little bit of that salt. Like, you know, you put chocolate all over your popcorn, just that kind of vibe. And Glen Scotia, thankfully, does not have the Springbank treatment where it's overpriced out the butt. The 18 Springbank back here is like 260 bucks. This is a 15-year for 80. You do the math. It's just so much better. But if you want to level up and spend a crap ton of money, Springbank, Hazelburn, Longrow, go for it. Longrow is a peated Campbeltown. But if you like the double oak, try the 15 then after that, because it is just about 25 bucks more and also super good. Let's go over to Speyside. All right, Speyside, not one of my favorite regions, but boom, we'll do a Craigellachie 13-year. This one comes directly from the Scotch father, who says this is one of the most middle-of-the-road standard Speysides, and it's only about 60 bucks. Again, all of these things are not going to be very expensive, so they're great to start with. Want to get into Scotch, want to build your collection, go with these bottles. This one is 46% alcohol, and it is a 50% of ex-bourbon and sherry. Now, all Speysides are pretty floral, but this one I think has a bunch more of those woody notes, some pineapple, a little bit of the oak spice and cinnamon there, and you're getting that old other Speyside kind of Highland grains coming in, cereals, wheaty, all of those things. And Craigellachie will give you a really nice intro into that region. After that, you go to try a Benriach. Benriach 10 is always super solid, and it's also very cheap. But I think for a 13-year age statement for 60 bucks, it's really hard to beat that. So there's your Speyside starter. Okay, there is 5 starter scotches from each region that I think will get you into this Scotch world. It is wonderful. You might be able to level up and get a bunch of these, start loving all of these. Scotch is great. People that love bourbon like to say Scotch is bad, tastes like dirt, tastes like smoke. Well, that means they had one Scotch and didn't like it and then swore off it for good. But I'm here to let you know there is a lot of different flavor profiles when it comes to Scotch, and it is worth the try. If you're a bourbon person, try to go for the Speyside first, maybe a Clynelish, but I think the Craigellachie 13 is also made good for you. Don't knock it till you try it. So there you go. There's your starter whiskeys from Scotland. And as always, like this video, give me a like. Not subscribed yet, make sure you do. It is the best way to support me. I love you guys that already are, so thank you very much. I'll see you guys next Wednesday, and cheers.